ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै सदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। कालिन्दितनतटया स्फुरदमन्दवृन्दावनं विहाय लवनाम्बुदं पुलिनपुष्पवाटिं गता जित अरुणा सुपीतवास हरि तिरोहित निज छवि श्री गौरंग में गति राधा चिंता निवेशिनं यस्य कांति विलोपित श्री कृष्ण चरणं वंदे राधालिंगितं विग्रहम् विश्वसर्ग विसर्गादि नवलक्ष लक्षितं कृष्णाख्यं परमधाम जगद्धाम नमामि यत् भक्त्या विहीनाय अपराधलक्षै क्षिप्तस्य कामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि तं शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते शरणागतम् श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। All together. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री श्री चैतन्य चैतामृत by Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. We were hearing yesterday the wonderful description about Shri Vilas Vigraha of Shri Krishna, the description of Vaikuntha and Vaikuntanath, Shri Narayan. Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Yesterday we took shelter of Shri Srimad Bhakti Raksha Sridhar Goswami Maharaj explaining wonderfully. Krishna claims, I am the source of everyone, even of Narayan. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna spoke, Aham sarvasva prabho matta sarvam pravartate itti matta bhajante bhav buddha bhav samanvita. Aham sarvasva prabho. Krishna said, I am the Lord of everyone. When he say I am the Lord of everyone means of everyone. He is Chartheshu Abhigya Swarat. He is independent. He is not dependent. He is Atmaram. He dwells in his own. He is Atmakam. And the three concepts of Krishna as explained in Bhagavatam, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwan iti Shabdate. Krishna is saying, Aham Sarvasva Prabhu. When he put his index finger on his chest and he's telling all the kings and everyone who's witnessing this, I'm the Lord of everyone means I'm the origin of Brahm, effulgence, the comprehensive aspect of the Supreme Lord. I'm the I'm the cause of, I'm the Lord of, the pervading aspect of Lord means Paramatma, who is witnessing everything. And even I'm the cause and the Lord of Bhagwan. the personal conception of the Lord. I am the cause of this. Brahmeti, Brahmatmeti, Bhagwan iti Shabdate. So while saying Aham Sarvasva Prabhu, he included everything, his rights on everything, which is true rights. Uh, and further he's saying, I am the Lord of Narayan. I am the cause of Narayan. Narayan is Vilas Vigraha of Krishna. So Jeev Goswami Pad commented in Bhakti Sandarbha, Bhagwan Narayan, whose Vilas Vigraha, and Shri Krishna is Swayam Rupa. Although it's same, but the difference is Lord Narayan is kind of a controller. Controller of what? Controller of all potencies, and is always giving orders to his servants. And Krishna is the Surup, is the form which inspires everyone to love him, to perform loving services to him. And just by seeing Krishna, one feel like loving him, one feel like serving him. What kind of service? Even that milk which is boiling on the stove, and Yashoda Maya is seeing that milk. The milk have a mood to serve Krishna. And because I'm not able to serve Krishna, why I'm holding my life? So as we all heard this, we all know this, the milk is boiling and wants to give up his life. So there's a natural tendency of everyone to serve Krishna. And that makes him Bhagwan, the cause of all causes. So aham sarvasva prabho matta sarvam pravartate. Everything emanates from me. All cosmic manifestation, material, spiritual, whatever, whatsoever. But when Krishna is saying this explanation is what he spoke in the battlefield of Kurukshetra as tattvata, according to tattva, and according to the perspective of his opulence. Everything emanates from me. There's nothing which is not emanate from me. Aham eva sammevagri. I was there before creation. I'm in creation. I'm after creation. Ah, but right now we are understanding the meaning of this verse according to not opulent, according to sweetness. Madhurya Parak Vichar by Shila, by guardian of devotion, Shishya Bhakti Rakshashida Goswami Maharaj. Wonderfully described this. And many other shlokas he described this, of Bhagavad Gita. So when Krishna says Matta Sarvam Pravartate, everything emanates from me, he wanted to say my worship and the style of my worship also, what is the cause of that? Is me, emanates from me. I introduce, I'm the founder, I'm the initiator of my own worship. I'm the founder, I'm the initiator of my own worship. And who's going to serve me? Me, myself, going to serve me. When I was reading this, I was what? Krishna serving Krishna. Yes, in the form of Mahaprabhu, we understand this. Krishna is serving Krishna, chanting Harinam, feeling ecstasies, cleaning Gundicha temple, dancing in front of Lord Jagannath, that we understand. But no, not Mahaprabhu. Swayam Roop Shri Krishna. He's saying, I serve my own self. How is possible? He said, because I I'm served by many of my potencies But the finest of my potency is Radha Rani. And as she served me, no one can serve me like that. Her everything is only to serve me. Her decoration is to serve me. Her glances is to serve me. Her uh, performing sulky mood is also to serve me. So, and who is Radharani? Brahma Samhita Brahmaji said, Anand Chinmay Ras Pratibhavi Tavi Tavi Yaiva Nij Rupatya Kalavi Golok Eva Nivasatim Akhilatama Bhutu Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. Radharani is Ahladani Shakti of Krishna. As explained in Ras Leela, the origin of Radharani, how she originated from the left side of Krishna. In other words, who's Radharani? It's Krishna himself, non-different from Krishna, the Shakti of Krishna, and Shaktiman Krishna, non-different. How can you prove this? By Siddhanta called Shakti Mator Abhedaha. There is no difference between the possessor of potency and the potency. No different. It's same. It's same. So when Krishna says Matta Sarvam Pravartate, my worship also emanates from me. And who's serving myself? I, myself, serving myself. But how? In what form? Is my finest form, potency, Radharani. And the representative of Radharani is Shri Guru. Guru Tattva is representative of Radharani, means embodiment of service. What Gurudev, what Srila Gurudev, what Guru Parampara, what Acharyas they do all day and night? Serving, reading about Krishna. Nana Shastra Vicharane Kanipano Sadharma Sanstapako. Reading scriptures, writing scriptures, singing the glories of Krishna. Huh. So Srila Gurudev, who is representative of Radharani, representative of Radharani. Param Gurudev used to tell Srila Gurudev and all other his disciples, even when I'm speaking to any outsider or on general topics, still you should sit next to me. And don't think, oh, this is Prajalpa. Don't think that I'm speaking which is not related to Krishna. And it appears that it is ordinary talking, ordinary topics. But while you sit with me, then you will see and understand with maturity level, with subtle vision, how I'm, while speaking on ordinary topics, how I switch over to Krishna, to spiritual topics. That's the art. So, Matta Sarvam Pravartate. As a representative of Radharani, Guru. And who is Guru? Sakshat Haritena Samasta Shastre. Is Sakshat Hari. Bhagavatam 11th canto, Krishna says to Uddhav, Acharya Mam Vijaniya. I am Acharya, I am Guru. So this, and that's why Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, he said, hence proved what I am saying. What proof? Who is serving me? Myself is serving myself. Guru is Krishna, Radharani is Krishna. And Krishna is accepting service from his own Surup, his own form, his own manifestation. Itti matta bhajante bhav. Itti matta bhajante bhav. While understanding this, one serves me. This is the meaning. Itti matta bhajante bhav. Anyone who understands this, what understand? That aham sarvasya prabhu matta sarvam pravartate. After understanding this, what happens? Till now it was sambandha tattva. I'm the Lord of everyone, right? Everything emanates from me. Yeah. Itti matta bhajante mam. While understanding this, bhajante mam, one get inspired to serve me. But what kind of service? Vedi bhakti or raga bhakti? That's the important point Krishna wants to tell here. Itti matta bhajante mam. While understanding this tattva, one feel inspired to serve me. How to serve me? In subjugation to my finest potency, that is Radharani. Under her guidance. And what is that which is under her guidance? That's called Raga Nuga Bhakti. So imagine Krishna uttering this verse with in the midst of big battle, and he's speaking his tattva, he's speaking his own glories actually. But what is his internal mood? That can only explained by acharyas, like who got into the mood of Shri Krishna. And imagine, right in the battlefield, what he's speaking about. He's speaking about Radharani. He's speaking about Raganuga Bhakti. Prem Ras Nirjas, Koritya Swadan, Rag Marg Bhakti Loke Koritya Prachar. Rasik Shekhar Krishna Param Karun. Why Krishna descend? The prime cause, reason for his descent and expanding his pastimes. Rag Marg Bhakti Loke Koritya Pracharam. To preach about his Rag Marg Bhakti. And how he preach? He can't preach without his associates, with his associates. That is Raganuga Bhakti. So Itti Matta Vajante Bhav, Vajante Mam. After understanding this, one inspired to serve me, but serve under guidance of Radharani means Raganuga Bhakti, because Vedi Bhakti Braj Bhav Paite Nahi Shakti. With Vedi Bhakti, one cannot get entrance into Vrindavan, Braj Bhav. Understand? With Vedi Bhakti, no one. Because there is so much fear of scriptural injunctions. So much fear. There's so much fear of society. There is so much fear of transgressing the rules and regulations. And Krishna don't like this. Krishna said, I don't want to follow any rules and regulation. I want my Raganuga Bhaktas also not to follow any rules and regulations. That doesn't mean we should not follow rules and regulations. But what he wants to indicate is that rules and regulation which is not promoting the spontaneous love and which is only focusing on Vedi Bhakti, scriptural injunctions, fear, God fearing. No, he wants he wants to reject that and focus on more Ragatmika Anusmritya Raganuga Uchyate. So Itti Matta Bhajante Mam Buddha Bhav Samanvita. Buddha. Buddha Bhav Samanvita. Buddha means intelligence. So with what kind of intelligence one can enter into this path or this domain what Krishna is focusing on by this verse? Which with what kind of intelligence? An ordinary intelligence? No. Intelligence with mode of ignorance? Not possible. Intelligence with a mode of passion? Forget about it. Intelligence with a mode of goodness? Not possible. Then that intelligence which falls from spiritual world, from Vishuddha Sattva, means the Ragatmik Bhaktas, means the associates of Krishna. That Shuddha Sattva falls in the heart of sadhak and one gets that intelligence. That intelligence, Nirguna, beyond all modes of nature, material nature, the Nirgun state intelligence, Buddha Bhav Samanvita. With that kind of intelligence, one can, and what is known by that intelligence? What is the word? Sumedasa. One who possesses this intelligence is called Sumedasa. Very fine and very perfect intelligence. And what's the verse which proves this? Srila Maharaj said, Bhagavatam explain about this. Krishna Varnam Atusha Krishnam Sangopang Astra Parshadam Yagge Sankirtan Prayai Yajanti Hi Sumedasa. Sumedasa means very intelligent. Who is most intelligent person? Who worship Krishna in Kali Yuga. That Krishna who has golden complexion, but he speaks about Krishna means Mahaprabhu. That's Sumedasa. And who is Mahaprabhu? Radha Bhav Duti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. Mahaprabhu is that Krishna who is covered with the mood and complexion of Radharani. That is Sumedasa. That person is most intelligent person. Buddha Bhav, Buddha with that intelligence. Understand? With Raganuga intelligence. Bhav, Bhav Samanvita. Not only Bhav Bhakti, but Rag Anurag Samanvita. Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, Prem. And after Prem, Sneh, Man, Pranay, Rag, Anurag. Krishna indicating this. Buddha Bhav Samanvita. Here Bhav means Anurag Samanvita. With that intelligence, one serve me, and what the one gets in result? This Anurag. Yeah, Anurag. So that was the explanation which we were not able to cover yesterday because of short of time. This is the so wonderful, fantastic explanation of this verse. And there are many other verses. Maybe tomorrow, some other time, we'll hear another verses. Very beautifully explained according to Madhurya Paravichar, sweetness, not according to opulent mood. Yes. Now the next verse. Yeche Baladev Paravyome Narayan Yeche Vasudev Pradyumna Adi Sankarshan. Further explaining about Swayam Roop Shri Krishna and Vilas Roop Shri Narayan. So Shri Kaviraj Goswami explaining, just like in Vrindavan and Dwarika, Shri Baldev Prabhu, in Vaikuntha, Shri Narayan, and Chaturvyuha. What is Chaturvyuha? Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Anirudh. These are known as Krishna's Vilas Vigraha, Vilas Murti. Understand? Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Anirudh. The four, what do you call? Quadruple expansions of Krishna in Dwarika. So Vasudev, who is Vasudev? The son of Vasudev Maharaj, and is Vasudev Krishna Chaturbhuja. He appeared. Where he appeared? The prison house of Kamsa. Tasmad Adbhut Balakam. Very astonishing child appeared. And the whole description of his beauty is been mentioned in Bhagavatam. Wearing crown, wearing earrings, Shankh Chakra Gada Padma, this club, conch, and lotus. Wearing garlands, necklaces, earrings, and so many other ornaments. He's Vasudev, Krishna. Then Sankarshan. The expansion of Vasudev is Sankarshan. So who is Sankarshan? श्री बलराम गोसाई मूल संकर्षण, पंच रूपे धरे करे कृष्णर सेवन, अपनी करे कृष्ण लीला सहाय, शिष्ट लीला करी धरि चार कार्य. There is मूल संकर्षण, the original sankarshan is Shri Balaram Prabhu. As we all know, Shri Baldev Prabhu appeared in the womb of Devaki, but by the Yog Maya potency and by the order of Krishna, the womb of Devaki was transferred to the womb of Rohini Maya. This is called attraction from the womb of Rohini to attraction to the womb of Devaki. Transfer and attraction, and that's called Sankarshan. That's why he's one of the name of Balram Prabhu is Sankarshan. So Shri Baldev Prabhu carrying Hal and Musal, plow and hole. No, in Dwarika he's carrying plow, buffalo horn in Braj, Vrindavan. Huh? You can't hear. Hang, cane. So this is what he's carrying in Dwarika. Why is carrying plow there? Is he farmer? He's Kshatriya there. What kind of weapon is carrying? Plow. He's not a farmer. He's not going out to uh, take care of the fields, harvest anything. No. Yes, he's a farmer. What he do? He put seed in the heart, the seed of bhakti, and farming the bhakti in the heart of jivas. That's why he's carrying plow. But in Vrindavan, he's not carrying any weapon. He's not holding any weapon. Only buffalo horn. And same with Krishna, no weapon. Because they're killing by lips, killing by hand, killing by feet, slapping, boxing. That's all. Don't need any weapon. That's where all those demons who got killed by Krishna in Braj Leela without any weapon, when they don't hold any weapon, they all get Sarupya Mukti. That's also advantage of getting killed by Krishna in Vrindavan. But those demons who killed by Krishna outside Vrindavan with weapon, they get Sayujya Mukti. So Balram Prabhu is Sankarshan, Mool Sankarshan. Shri Balram Gosai Mool Sankarshan Panch Rupe Dhare Kare Krishna Sevan. He expand himself in 5 forms to serve Krishna. One see? This Karandakshay Vishnu, Garbdakshay Vishnu, Shirodakshay Vishnu, Shesh. अपनी करे कृष्ण लीला सहाय शिष्टि लीला करी धरि चारकाय. Shri Baldev Prabhu assists Krishna in his personal pastimes, and he assists Krishna in his creation by expansion with 4 forms: Karandakshay, Garbdakshay, Shirodakshay, and Shesh. Shesh. So this is Sankarshan. Then Pradyum and Anirudh. Who is Pradyum? The son of Krishna. You heard about Pradyum? Very interesting pastime. No? Pradyum is son of Krishna. Krishna and Rukmani gave birth to Pradyumna. Prior to this, the Kamdev, Cupid, who tried to trouble Shiva, shooting 5 arrows and wants to trouble Shiva with his lust, with a mood of lust. But Shiva is the conqueror of lust. And to exhibit this, he opened his third eye and turned Kamdev, the Cupid, to ashes. Ashes. Kamdev, Cupid has this beautiful wife called Rati. Rati. Very beautiful. They both always stay together. Now, Rati is lamenting so much. My husband died. Oh Mahadev, oh Shiva, what you did? You turned my husband to ashes. Please help me. Seeing the situation of Rati, Shiva pacified Rati and told Rati, don't worry. Huh? I want to have my husband back. Please help me. And Shiva is Ashutosh. He always help everyone. Very easily get satisfied. So seeing tears in the eyes of Rati, Shiva said, Rati, your husband will soon get a new body. You don't worry. Now she is worrying when and where. And Mahadev is Sarvagya. He knows everything. He knows everything. So this Kamdev, who is who was very beautiful, but he tried to offend Mahadev with his, lust. Now he's in ashes, and that's why we call Ananga. Ananga means without limbs. Ananga. Tanno Ananga. We all chant this, but that's not about Cupid, Kamadev. That's about transcendental Cupid. Means Krishna. The word Ananga means without limbs. So Mahadev turned Cupid to ashes means without any limbs. But another name of Ananga, Krishna also is known by the word Ananga. Tanno Ananga Prachodayat. Other meaning of Ananga is one who has very beautiful limbs. Very beautiful limbs. Ananga. So anyhow, what I was saying before? Huh? This Cupid, Kamadev, he took shelter of the body of Pradyumna. He entered in the body of Pradyumna. How is possible? Yes, it's possible. Just like Dronadhara, two Vasus, they entered into the body of Yashoda Maya and Nanda Baba. Why? They were performing austerities. Dronadhara. With what reason? Austerities? To relish the Vatsalya Bhav, the affection mood towards Bhagwan, towards Lord. So they got benedicted by Brahmaji. Okay, you will relish. You can see and also relish the Vatsalya Bhav of Supreme Lord. So this Dronadhara, they enter into the body of Yashoda Maya and enter into the body of Nanda Maharaj. So through their entering into the body of associates, they are feeling and relishing that. You understand my point? If someone is haunted by a ghost, a person act crazy, yeah? Mad and crazy, and eat more than 10% can eat because haunted means the ghost has entered your body. Just one example. Dronadhara, because they want to relish this vast and affectionate mood, they enter into the body of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Maya because they are the only one who feels the most what? Vatsalya Bhav. So there was no other option. So they entered into the body of to Yashoda Maya and Nanda Maharaj, and through them they were inside the body and they were relishing this. That is also one of the reasons why Krishna he descended with his associates in this Bhom Vrindavan, along with the associates, because all these other rishis, munis, and prajapatis who had many desire unfulfilled, and want to get all these desire fulfilled, there is no other option other than taking the shelter of the associate of Lord. So they take shelter of any associate of Bhagwan, according to likewise their moods. And another side, Prishni Sutapa, they also perform austerities, and Bhagwan appeared in front of them, and Bhagwan said, "What do you want?" And they said, "We want a son like you." So we have to pay attention to the words. They said, "We want to have a son like you." Bhagwan said, ah, "There is no one like me. I have to become your son." Now, Prishni Sutapa also, they entered into the body of Vasudev Maharaj and Devaki. They entered into the body of Vasudev Maharaj and Devaki because they prayed for getting a son like Bhagwan. They didn't ask for tasting the Vasalabha. They didn't ask for that. They only wanted Krishna as their son. But to make Krishna your son, you have to be on a very high level. Satyam Vishuddham Vasudev iti Shabditam. So that's why they have no other option. How they can have Krishna as their son? So they entered into the body of Vasudev Maharaj and Devaki and felt that mood and emotion. Oh, Krishna is our son. You see, that's how it's functioning. So keep this topic here. Let us come to that Pradyumna. Kamadev, he entered into the body of Pradyumna because Pradyumna is very, 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 very beautiful and handsome. Son of Rukmani. And of course, he's son of Krishna. Krishna is so beautiful. So the son also get the same features as father. Atma Jayate Putraha. Once Atma's soul take birth as son, is the Shastras. Yeah. So Pradyumna, very beautiful. Kamdev entered in the body of Pradyumna. When Pradyumna was just 10 days boy, just 10 days, a demon called Shambra, he was very envious to Kamadev. He was very envious. And also to Kam. So Naraji told him, Shambra, Kamdev has taken shelter of Pradyumna. He said, really? Yes, he entered into the body of Pradyumna. Shambra also used to worship Mahadev. And Rati, the wife, also crying for her husband. So they both were at the same spot. Rati being crying. And Shambra also came at the same moment and said, Oh Prabhu, you are my Lord, you are my Gurudev, I am your disciple. Please fulfill my desire. What do you want? Shambra said, this Rati is very beautiful. I want to get Rati. I want to enjoy her. Shiva understood the whole scene. He visualized everything and made a whole plan. He said, okay, I give you this boon. But Rati got scared. Why you give this boon to him? He's a demon. My husband is Kamadev. I'm chaste woman. Shiva said, don't worry. You will get your husband in the palace of Shambra. And that's why you have to go there and serve him. You want to get your husband back? She said, yes. So you go with him. And that's why I gave this blessing to him. So Shambra, demon, he took Rati, but he was not even able to touch her because she has some very mystic powers. And even though Shambra brought her in the palace, she hid herself in a different form. She can assume any form. And Shambra thought Rati disappeared. But Rati was still in the palace of Shambra, and She assumed a different form and she informed, my name is Mayavati. Shambra was not able to understand that she is the Rati. And why she is in the palace of Shambra demon? Because Mahadev Shiva told, you'll get your husband there. And now she's waiting. Meanwhile, what happened? Shambra demon came to know that Cupid has entered in the body of Pradyumna. And Pradyumna was only 10-day young boy in his palace. Shambrasur, he also knows so many mystic powers, and he, like in a disguise, he entered into palace and he kidnapped Pradyumna, the small young boy. He kidnapped, and no one was able to see him. And he threw that boy in the ocean. Finish. And he came back to his palace relaxing. The boy is in the ocean, but he's Pradyumna. Pradyumna, you know who's Pradyumna? Garbhadakshai Vishnu. Who can kill Pradyumna? His son of Krishna. And what is all this going on? Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya is creating this, a play, a pastime. Pradyumna was thrown in the ocean, and a big, very huge fish, she ate that child, that infant, swallowed. And some fishermen, they spreaded their net, and this fish got stuck in the net. Fishermen, they took this fish out, which was very big, and thought, oh, this fish should go to our king, Shambrasu, because he used to eat fish. Thank God. He used to eat fish. So the fishermen, they offered this fish to the cook. Say, Maharaj, there's a gift for you. He said, okay, I will eat this. I'll cook this fish today. So the fish entered into the kitchen, and cook, they took their knife and they cut the fish, and they found a boy inside the fish. Say, oh, strange. Maybe this fish has eaten some boy from the shore. But the boy was still alive. And they have nothing to do with the child. They have to cook fish. They busy in cooking fish, and they handed over this boy to Mayavati. Understand the connection? Mayavati is that Rati, the wife of Cupid. Understand the whole connection? Little twisting, huh? So they offered this boy to Mayavati to please take care of this child. Mayavati, she understood by her mystic intelligence that he is my husband, Kamadev, who entered in the body of Pradyumna. He is my husband. So Mayavati is nourishing her own husband as child, decorating him, bathing him, feeding him, rice, dal, all these things, food, etc. When Pradyumna, he appeared as a teenager in his youth, Mayavati started looking that child, the teenager, with different vision now, with some lust, some, you understand what I want to say? Different smile, different vision, different looks. Yeah, different looks, different smile, touching him. And Pradyum understood there's something wrong. She is not behaving as she is supposed to. So Pradyum said, Mother, what are you doing? I'm not seeing you and like you are before. Your moods are different now. It's unusual. And immediately Mayavati hold hands on the mouth of Pradyum. Don't say this. Don't address me, mother. I'm your wife. And she explained everything. How my husband, this, everything. You are my husband. You're not my son. And I was waiting for this time when you get to understand this. Because before you were infant, you didn't understand my love and my emotions for you. Now you're able to understand because now you're a teenager. So Pradyum came to know this. And when Mayavati told everything, Pradyum became so angry on Shambrasu demon. And he took his club and started fighting with Shambrasu. His whole army came, all his guards came, and Pradyum is killing everyone like this. And finally Pradyumna fought with Shambrasur and defeated him. And then he took his wife, which is also one form, but many other are included in that form. That means actually the wife of Pradyum is Rukmavati. But this Rati and Mayavati also get entered into the body of Rukmavati. Because Pradyum is carrying Kamadev, Cupid in him. And Rukmavati is carrying Rati in her. Understand? So the union, the connection of Kamadev and his wife Rati is also there in Pradyumna and Rukmavati. Pradyumna, after some years, imagine when he was 10-day young boy, the demon took him and threw in the ocean. And now he's teenager. After so many years, he came back to Dwarika with his wife. And everyone welcomed him. Everyone welcomed him. He entered into this palace, his own palace. And seeing Pradyumna, who's so beautiful and handsome, all the queens, they they hiding here and there, hiding behind any pillars, and looking with sidelong glances the beauty of Pradyumna. With conjugal smiles over Pradyumna. Now, according to the etiquette, all these queens are like mothers to Pradyumna, right? But Sri Jiva Goswami Pad explains here, when queens were seeing Pradyumna, they were not seeing him with that conjugal smiles or vision, not seeing Pradyumna like this, but because they are seeing Krishna in that Pradyumna. And that's why they felt this kind of emotions. So many people, they say there is some rasa bhas, semblance of rasa in Bhagavatam. But Sri Jiva Goswami in his Sandarbhas explaining, no, Bhagavatam is pure without any rasa bhas. And there are many occasions which looks like very not according to etiquette. But Sri Jiva Goswami explains, yes, it is etiquette. And it is not a rasabhas there. Because when the queens, who are like mothers to Pradyumna, they were not having this lusty desires or this feeling of love by seeing Pradyumna as child, as their son, but they are seeing Krishna. Pradyumna reminds them of Krishna. Understand? Pradyumna reminds them of Krishna, and remembering Krishna, this feeling evoked in them. This feeling, not as Pradyumna. So Rukmani, she took Pradyumna in her palace and told, "Oh, you beautiful one, I had one son who was 10 days young, and one demon took him. When I see you, I feel like you are my son." And she started crying. Oh, if my son would have alive, Also, he would have been by your age and beautiful like you. Pradyumna said, Mother, I'm your son. And he explained everything, the whole episode, what happened. Rukmani became so happy. She informed Krishna and they welcomed Pradyumna. So this is one uh, expansion. The Vilas Murti of Shri Krishna. Pradyumna is so beautiful and handsome. Ah. So Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and then Aniruddha. Who is Aniruddha again? Son of Pradyumna. Also very interesting pastime. You heard about Aniruddha before? Okay, very interesting. There was a demon called Vanasur. Once upon a time, he pleased Mahadev, and Mahadev said, "What do you want from me? I want 1,000 arms." Huh? What are you going to do with this? Prabhu, I know you like to dance. Hmm. Tandav. I want to please you by playing 500 mridangas altogether with my 1,000 arms. Then you can dance as long as you can. Mahadev blessed him with 1,000 arms. Then he said, I need something more. He said, what? He said, I have so much weight of my arms on my body. I want someone who can fight with me. Shiva said, who's going to fight with you? There's no one in the whole universe who can fight with you. Then he said, why don't you fight with me? Shiva said, are you on your senses? What you saying? I blessed you with this. You are my disciple. I have so much affection for you. And you want to fight with me? Shiva became angry. So, you foolish rascal. You are not in your senses. You develop so much pride in you. So you will die one day when your flag falls. The flag which have peacock, when falls on the ground, you will die. The Banasur became little. Oh, sorry, Gurudev. Sorry, Gurudev. Don't show your power. I give you this. I gave you this arms, and I can kill you. But I have so much affection for you. So Banasur got so much affection from Shiva, and Shiva got attached with his disciple, even though he's demon. And it was Banasur, oldest amongst 100 son of Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj was grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. So Banasur was the oldest one, but demonic. Ah. Now, Banasur has one daughter called Usha. Once upon a time, Usha, she saw Shiv and Parvati having amorous pastimes together. When Usha, she was very young, very beautiful young teenager. When she saw Parvati enjoying with Shiva, immediately the desire evoked in her heart. I also want to enjoy. Parvati saw her and she said, oh, Usha, you're very beautiful, I understand. Very soon you get your desire fulfilled. But she said, when? When? When the day will come, when I will also get one husband and I can enjoy with him. Parvati said, don't worry, it's going to get soon. And your husband will appear in your dreams. That personality will be your husband. No. And she said, uh, 12th, 14th day of lunar, means moon, you'll get your husband in these many days. Don't worry. So Usha, once upon a time, she was sleeping. She dreamt of Aniruddha, the son of Pradyumna. So handsome, so beautiful. Of course, Krishna's grandson, Pradyumna, son. Pradyumna is so beautiful, and Anirudh is also like that, the same features. Now Usha got, she woke up and she had one Sakhi, one girlfriend called Chitralekha, who was the daughter of the minister of Banasur. Very close friendship. Chitralekha said, Usha, what happened? I'm seeing some different feelings in you. What is the matter? Usha said, I'm in love with someone, but I don't know who that person is. I saw I saw him in my dreams, and I want him to be as my husband. Ah, this all mentioned in 10th canto, this pastimes. So I want to get him as my husband. But where is he? Chitralekha said, but how he look like? He said, Chitralekha, how can I explain? His lotus eye, he's so beautiful, curly hairs. Chitralekha was so expert, she started drawing sketches of everyone in the whole universe. All demigods, all Gandharvas, all Kinnars, all figures. And Usha said, no, this, not this, not this, not this. Then she drew the sketch of Krishna. Usha said, wait a minute, something like this, but exactly not this. Some features, some resemblance. Then she draws sketch of Pradyumna, and Usha became so shy, embarrassed. She said, is he? I said, no, 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 but exactly like him. Then Chitralekha draw Aniruddha. And immediately when Usha saw this, yes, twice she said, yes, he. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains why Usha got embarrassed and shy to see Pradyumna. Because immediately she understood he's my father-in-law. And she felt shy because she fell in love with his son. And he's my father. I mean, Pradyumna is father-in-law, and I fall in love with Aniruddha without even asking permission from him. So she felt shy. So she said, Chitralekha, he, Aniruddha. Now Chitralekha is also very expert in all this mystic power. Aniruddha was sleeping in Dwarika in his palace. And Chitralekha took his bed from Dwarika and brought in the palace with Usha. In the inner chambers of Usha, where no one else can, no male can ever enter. And Aniruddha was there and he woke up, huh? What is this? Skyways Airlines? Which airlines is this? Southeast Airlines? You can cancel your ticket without any reduction of your fare. And also you get 2 bags free of cost. Southwest or Southeast? Something like this in America. Huh? Southwest, right. Good. So Usha brought Anirudh. Sorry, Chitralekha brought, and now Usha is having nice time with Anirudh. She's serving Anirudh so much, giving so many gifts to him, and asking her maid servants to cook this, to cook that. And Anirudh was, in a secluded with Usha. Nobody knew this. Only Chitralekha and 2 or 3 maid servants knew this. But once upon a time, Usha came out from her inner chambers, and the guards, who were also not male but female, they saw some different moods of Usha. She's so joyous, she's so happy, but not like she was before. So they all noticed some marks of loving pastimes in Usha. They thought we should right away inform her father, because if father will come to know this, the father will kill us, saying that you are the guards and you didn't prevented anyone to enter inside. They found out Anirudh is inside. They so these guards, they informed Banasur that this is what's happening with your daughter. She's enjoying with Anirudh, and we saw some symptoms. Banasur became very angry. Who allowed him to go inside? She said, not we. They said, no, we didn't. We don't know how he entered there. But no one can enter. Maybe some mystic power. Banasur became so angry. He took his sword. He entered into that inner chamber. And Usha became so angry, totally astonished. How father came to know about this? What shall I do now? And he arrested Aniruddha in his palace. And there, Naraji informed Dwarkavas, informed Krishna and Balram, your grandson Anirudh got arrested by Asur. Prabhu, that Banasur. Krishna said, my grandson arrested? Huh? And Balram Prabhu, what? How dare he can march? Army, Krishna, Pradyumna, Balaram. Oh, so powerful with their army. And Banasur saw this army and he said, Mahadev, Mahadev, Shiva, help me, help me. And Shiva also with his son Kartikeya helping Banasur. You know, affection to disciple. Even if disciple is demon, Guru has affection. Right? Yes. Shiva has affection for Banasur. And he has all his weapons, Pashupati and all his weapons. And he also took his son Kartikeya with him. And Banasur, of course, with his army. And big fight, big battle. Krishna said, oh, let me take care of Mahadev first. Shiva saw. Shiva took his bow and arrow. Krishna also took his bow and arrow, shooting arrows to each other. Yeah. Krishna is saying, oh, Mahadev Baba, so much affection for disciple. You forget who am I? You forget about me. But actually, Shiva cannot be ignorant. What he's doing, purposely he's doing this. He wants to, Vishnu Chakur Thakur explains, he wants to show the glories of his Prabhu. That when I get defeated by my Prabhu, the whole world will come to know the glories of my Prabhu. And secondly, this Banasur will also get a lesson. So many reasons are there. Shiva is fighting, shooting so many arrows, and his best weapon is Pashupati. And Krishna said, Mahadev Baba, all antique weapons, keep in the museum. Very old, antique ones. Don't you have any new one? I will show you a new weapon. Krishna shooted one weapon, yawning. And Mahadev is yawning. Sleepy. All the time, this weapon. Mahadev also, he invoked one weapon. It's called Shiva Jwara. Jwara means fever. And he shooted this weapon so that Krishna can get fever. Shiva Jwara. Krishna said, oh, that's the new one. I will also shoot one arrow. And he also shot one arrow. Narayan Jwar. And Narayan Jwar defeated the Shiva Jwara. Shiva got defeated there. And Krishna, he took his chakra now. And he cut all the arms of Banasur. 2 pair, 3 pair, 4 pair, 5 pair, chopped up. And then only 4 left. Shiva, please, Prabhu, he is my disciple. Please spare him. Forgive him. We will happily will offer Aniruddha, your grandson, and his wife. Happily, we will offer to you. Krishna said, yes, immediately. Bring my grandson. So Aniruddha, he brought Usha and then happily staying in Dwarika. So that's the whole little brief story about not the tattva, but the pastime of The tattva is very detailed. Of Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. This Pradyum is Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and Aniruddha is the expansion of Pradyum is Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and expansion of Aniruddha is Karandakshay Vishnu. Paramatma. It's expansion of Aniruddha. So Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. Tomorrow.